Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first ever Studium Townhall. Thank you for everybody for joining. For those that don't know myself, I'm Sean Brady, Manager of Product. So my job is at CAVAL to deal with the digital platforms that we provide to the regional library community. And with me today, I've also got Sarah, our Deputy CEO, that may help out with some questions. Before we begin, I just wanted to acknowledge the Wurundjeri Woi Wurrung peoples of Kulin Nation as the traditional owners of the lands on which the CAVAL offices are located, and we pay our respects to elders past and present. So today we've got a bit to cover. First of all, we're just going to take just a step back to actually see everything that, as a community, that we've achieved up until this point. And then we'll just move into more platform-specific pieces, such as some of the enhancements that you may already know about that we've released, some new stuff to announce, and then moving into future roadmap, so features and enhancements that we're looking to incorporate over the next year. Then we'll move through to just having a quick chat or a quick info session about the relationship that we have with Pressbooks, the developers of Pressbooks, that is, and the dependencies that we rely on and that the community relies on. And then we'll just pass it on over to you folks for a Q&A. So let's get started. So before we jump into everything, I just wanted to highlight something that's coming up on very early on Tuesday, the 28th of July. It shouldn't really affect anybody due to the timing, but we will be just performing a quick security patch. So downtime should be approximately 5 minutes. Again, it's at 12:15 a.m. on Tuesday, the 28th of July. So if all goes well, it should be pretty minimal disruptions for everybody. So let's have a look at actually what we've been doing over the past 7 months. So all the way back in December, Call announced to the core community that CAVAL would be providing a OER solution, and that was based off the Call OER Collective. The news that would be shutting down by the end of 2026. So I think that was announced, I think pretty much on the 15th of December. And by the end of December, we'd actually already picked up, I think, 2 to 3 sign-ups to our platform. At that point, we didn't have a name for it. We were still sort of working through all the configuration and everything, and all the planning that we needed to do to actually figure out how we would properly support an OER community. Come February, we provided a webinar that was really, really well supported by the regional community across Australia and New Zealand. We had a lot of questions come through, a lot of comments, a lot of suggestions. At that point, we announced our branding, which was Studium. And then we also announced the OER adoption program to allow newcomers to the OER community to join up in an easy way. Then in March, we had our first institutions go live. And then we also had our 10th institution sign up to Studium. Then very soon after that, in April, we had our first OER published, which was from Bond University. So congrats to Bond for doing that. And then come June, we completed all of the migrations from the OER Collective. Those were both from the signed up institutions to Studium, but also the institutions that haven't signed up, that have gone a different way. We also incorporated all of the published Studium OERs into the global Pressbooks directory as well. So we work with Pressbooks directly on that. So today, our community covers 16 institutions across Australia and New Zealand. 14 of those have signed up to Studium, and we've got another 2 that have signed up to the adoption program, which is fantastic. Today, we have 45 published OERs. In the background, we've actually migrated 179 OERs. So a lot of those are unpublished. That 179 is not from just the collective, but also from individual institutions, environments that have signed up as well to Studium. Out of the 179, we don't expect all of those to be published. We're well aware that there's probably a lot of outdated material or outdated books that are in there. And so we understand that the 45 is going to increase from here. There's still a lot of organisations, institutions that are taking this point in time to review the data that we migrated across from the collective, to do a bit of an audit, to see what's still relevant, to see what's needing to be updated before they tick the box and republish some of those OERs that were published on the collective. So let's move on to platform enhancements. So as I mentioned earlier, all published works in Studium are now available at pressbooks.directory. The easiest way to actually find those is if you go to the network facet and type Studium, you'll see a listing of all of the published works. So the way that this works and updates is that it's essentially on a schedule. It's all automated. I'm not entirely sure what the schedule is. I think it's about once a week. So just be a bit patient that if you do publish something, it may take a couple of days or may take a week before it actually gets harvested and appears in the directory. If you are publishing works and for some reason you're not seeing them appear, please reach out to us at oersupport@caval.edu.au and we'll investigate and perhaps have to contact Pressbooks about it. The next thing we've done, which is new to everyone here, is we've actually created a style guide. So we've been getting questions around adding the Studium logo, for instance, to works that are being published for the first time on Studium. So these are new works. So based off that, what we've done is provided this style guide. So there's access to all the logos, some information around the colours and the style that if you want to, you can incorporate those and attach, say, logos onto front covers of works and things like that. So that is available at our GitHub. So if you just go to github.com/caval.edu/Studium style guide, you'll be able to see those, and I'll be sending out this information to everybody as well. So you don't need to scribble and write that down. Next up is something that came along a while ago, is custom fonts. So everyone now has the ability to upload and use custom fonts in their OERs. It's super easy to use. This allows you to use fonts, say, from Google. You can just go to their website, download the particular fonts from their directory, upload them, and away you go. And from the book side, you just select those fonts that you want to use. So let's now move on to the roadmap. And it is color-coded based on the release window, essentially. So the first 3 things that we're currently working on are all around MARC and sharing those MARC records. So we are currently testing MARC records creation. We do intend to release that in the next month. And then following on from that, we'll be then releasing a centralized catalog We're still working through the details of that as to what exactly we'll be using. It'll probably be Viewfind. And then that'll allow us to have one centralized catalog where all of the everyone's individual Pressbooks instances will upload mark records into that catalog. And then the next step will be allowing external parties, so external catalogs, institutions and other things and directories to harvest those metadata records. So we'll be incorporating a PMH target for that. The next on the list is LMS and LTI integration. So LTI stands for Learning Tools Interoperability, and this will allow content from your OERs to be included in courses in your learning management systems. So you're thinking Moodle, Canvas, Blackboard, and so forth. So this will allow work that you create in Pressbooks to be used for grading purposes inside your LMS. So an example of this would be maybe a H5P test that you've created and published in an OER. You'll be able to select that directly to add content, say in Canvas. The next thing we're working on is single sign-on support. So to be clear, Pressbooks currently does already support single sign-on, and you are more than happy to investigate that and get that working. Everyone has the administrative privileges and the rights to investigate that and get that working today. What this line is talking about is CAVAL supporting or providing support to institutions that wish to incorporate single sign-on and need some help. So we haven't started this work yet. That's something that, again, once we get all the mark record stuff done and the LTI work done, that's something we'll start to look into. If SSO is something that you want to incorporate today, again, please reach out to us and we can have a chat to you and see what support is required. And then the next 5 things are pieces that are kind of yet to be decided as to when we'll start to work on these. There's obviously a bit going on before we get to these. The first being a Malala-like theme. This is something that we announced at the first webinar that we talked about, but we are reviewing this as to if this is something that we still are required to provide. And I'll talk a bit more about this in at the start of the Q&A session. Next is chapters records, mark records based on chapters of books as opposed to the titles of books. And then we've got another couple here, WordPress theme support. So that's just like single sign-on support where it is something that you can do today. You have the rights and the privileges to do that. So this is going to just be more about investigation if this is something that CAVAL can provide official support for you. And if so, what does that entail? So again, that's something that you can do today. And then next up is accessibility tools, as well as centralized statistics. All right, so moving on to dependencies that we have between us and the Pressbooks team. So we've fielded a couple of questions around, why is this plugin this particular version? Why can't this be upgraded and so forth? And so essentially behind the scenes, and like any type of software, the Pressbook developers use a very strict version control to keep things from not breaking. So essentially there's a lot of different tools and systems behind the scenes that combine to make Pressbooks what it is and to how it functions. Pressbooks are required to test all those different pieces before they release a new version, say of a plugin to be used by the community. And there are situations where it's not actually Pressbooks that we're waiting on to do the work. It actually may be a step before that. It actually may be the vendor or the owner or the other developers of that piece of software to do some work before Pressbooks can implement that new feature or enhancement. So an example of this is H5P. The latest version is version 1.28. So if you use the H5P website, if you're creating resources on h5p.com, then they will be in version 1.28. As it currently stands, Pressbooks only supports version 1.27. So there's a high possibility that if you create works on the H5P website and try to just import them into Pressbooks, that import won't work. You are still definitely have the ability inside Pressbooks to create H5P content. So at this point in time, we suggest that you do that. And the reason behind this, and this goes back to that third dot point on the screen there, is that we're actually waiting on H5P to update the underlying WordPress plugin to support version 1.28. And so that needs to occur before Pressbooks can test and update Pressbooks to support version 1.28. So kind of a chicken and the egg scenario at the moment. So I suggest that if you can, please update or please use the inbuilt Pressbooks H5P building tools. All right, so before I hand it over directly to everyone here, I did have a couple of questions that I wanted to ask the community. And the first is around publishing support as an additional service that CAVAL could provide. We have fielded some questions around this, so I wanted to throw it over to everybody here. And please, if you can, type in the chat. And Sarah, I might need your help because I can't see the chat at the moment. So type in the chat or unmute yourself. And if you do have interest in publishing support, please let us know. So, and we'd also really like to know what kind of support that would cover. And also if you see that there are any other gaps in the publishing cycle or the building cycle, development cycle of an OER that you need help with. We'd be really interested to know that. So at this time, does anyone have anything to say about these ones?
Sean, I'm happy to say something.
Hey, Frank.
How you
Good to see
going? Good, you too. I'm very for publishing support, and I think perhaps even starting with a discussion list so that we can actually share that with everybody, and maybe ask the community first before we ask CAVAL. But I think a formal group around supporting each other would be ideal, even if it meets monthly, to share different ways of how people edit, peer review, go through the whole process of support in terms of publishing would be great. So I'm for that. Just in short, I suppose.
Thanks, Frank. Appreciate it. So some other comments here, around support around mathematical formulas, and also link checking as well. Yeah, thank you. So please.
Lucy did have her hand up as well.
Oh, yes. I don't see that. Go ahead.
Chrissy Jones.
Oh, yes, sorry.
Sorry,
I
I
put
should've-
my hand up and then put it down, but it was just the author, one of the authors I've been helping, he's just had issues with the mathematical formulas, just if you're importing. So maybe help with that kind of thing, because when it imports, it changes. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
One question I did have, Sean, is Lucy mentioned a workflow module would be helpful. Lucy, would you be able to expand on that? What sort of things you would like included in that module?
Yeah. So at I mean, the platform itself is great, but what we have in terms of being able to track these projects through the system, it's all very ad hoc. Well, not ad hoc, but we have to use spreadsheets, and you know, it just makes it very difficult when you've got multiple projects on the go and you don't have anything that's formally part of the Pressbooks platform. So it would be helpful to have something that could be used to project manage these books. We're looking at scalability. We want to have more books coming through the system, but we want to make it manageable for the very few of us that are actually looking after the services.
Thank you so much, Lucy.
Yeah, thank you. That's really helpful. All right. On to the next question I had here was, again, going back a little bit here, is around the Malala theme. So the fact that custom fonts is now supported in the core Pressbooks product, this does raise a question, because that is one of the reasons why people like to use Malala in the first place, is do people still see a need for us to do the work on a theme? All of the works that we migrated from the collective and from those individual institutions, Pressbooks, environments that we use in the Malala theme have all been converted now to Jacobs. So I just wanted to sort of put it out there to see if people see the need for this. Are there any other options around here that we could look to investigate? Again, I'll put this back over to you folks. Silence is golden on this one, I think. So, oh, you would like it, Jenny? Okay. And other options as well. Okay.
The one thing that would be really handy is if there's bits from each theme that you do like that we can merge into one singular theme for you, we could look at doing that as well. So if you move between Jacobs and a few of the others, but find that, you know, one piece is really, really nice, but the others aren't, we can look at putting that into a separate theme as well. So just let us know.
All right. So if no one has any other comments about that, I'm just going to hand it directly over to you folks now to see if you have anything else that you want to bring up. Any other enhancements, any other comments or suggestions that you may have? And Jane, thank you. So Jane's just put a reminder in the chat around the OER collective publishing workflow that's available on the core libguides. And that can definitely be used as a basis for workflows. Potentially things now need to be changed a little bit now that we're talking about Studium versus collective. But I think definitely a lot of the heavy lifting's already been done with that. Lucy Walton, plugin for audiobook. So Lucy, do you want to expand on that? Are you talking about exporting as an audiobook or something else?
No, just for people, it's accessibility purposes, so that the content can be read out. I know some of the voices are not great, but it would be helpful if there was a really good tool that could just automatically read out the text instead of us having to get someone to read it out and record it.
Okay.
Jane Clark also had her hand up as well.
Started to type in the chat, but maybe it's easier to talk. Earlier on, when you were talking about the roadmap, mentioned centralized statistics. That kind of like an in-house bespoke statistics on our books, you know, viewings, visitors, that sort of thing, or it might be a pro version of COCO Analytics?
So as it currently stands, everyone has the COCO Analytics plugin enabled. So from a institutional standpoint, you should be able to already glean statistics from your own usage. So clicks, click-throughs, views, so forth. You also have the ability to add the, if you have it, a Google Analytics account details through the admin portal as well, if you want to go that route. So what we're talking about when it comes to centralized statistics is to see if we can harvest all of those statistics and have them presented in one spot. One of the challenges that we have at the moment is just in general is the fact that everyone has their own individual instances. So it's hard to keep track of exactly where everything is at from one central spot. We have to log into each individual Pressbooks instance to see how many, you know, OERs you've created or how many you've published and things like that. So it'd be good if we can somehow collate that information into one central spot to get a holistic approach or holistic view of the stats. All right, just having a look through the chat a little bit. So Frank, yep, about the stats, about transparency around the stats, and also ancillary materials.
Yeah. So there's been a lot of great work in terms of publishing open works by all of the institutions. I'd like to see some perhaps some ancillary resources supporting those publications in terms of teaching delivery and how they may be PowerPoint slides, they may be test banks, they may be a whole host of different things that support the delivery of those works. So I think that's the question I get asked constantly from teaching staff. It's all well and good to offer the publication up, but you know, what about some ancillary supporting stuff? Because we know that a number of academics always rely on the publisher PowerPoint slides and all of the test banks that they provide and the images. And
Yep.
so perhaps if we can actually build some open materials around this would be fantastic.
Thanks, Frank. So Krista had some issues where a registered author wasn't able to edit their previous works and had to change their account to an editor. But this has been an issue with the migration in their previous chapters, not recognizing that they are the author. That's a good question. I mean, it appears that it is, that the link maybe not has been like, we had to modify the type of user on import, so they come across as maybe an author when they needed to be an editor. Krista, if you can send me the details, I can look into that for you, or we can look into that for you.
Cool. Yeah, I'll do that. Thanks, Sean.
Cool. Thank you. And Lucy's just, yes, suggesting include Google Analytics. Yeah. So again, everyone can do that. That would definitely be something if we can do as a central thing as well. That would be a very easy way of doing collective stats. Okay, so Stephen, if anyone's working on OER edited volumes, we can share our editor's workflow tool to track multiple chapter contributors and progress stages, basically a spreadsheet adapted from the Open Ed Down Under project. Awesome, thanks, Stephen. more wants for, I guess it's text to speech of some variety, plugin for audiobooks, which is great. And Christy, yes, another sort of author needed to be converted to an editor or changed to an editor. And that's great, Frank, that you've actually got a project starting up around ancillary materials. Look forward to seeing that.
It's Stephen, not Frank, but good work,
Oh,
Stephen.
it was. It was two Frank, not Frank. Thanks, Stephen. I'm getting caught up in the chat. Lucy Walton, ability to export PDF with book cover. Now, I think that should already be available.
Craig has his hand up if you want to get Craig's help.
Yeah, Craig. And for those that don't know Craig, Craig is one of the people that we have locked in a cave that's actually doing a lot of the dev work behind the scenes at CAVAL. So Craig is part of our IT team.
Yeah. So I got on the topic of the authors that aren't able to edit their previous works. In the information that we were provided by call, they had excluded specifically user data as a privacy concern. So so unfortunately, yes, we do have to have those users created. But once they are created, they can be assigned those permissions. On the export PDF, it should be functioning. If it doesn't, absolutely let us know. I will look into that.
I can even just do a quick demo actually around the PDF as well, if we've got time in a moment. See what else we've got in the chat. Thanks a lot, Craig. Jane is asking, the CC by NC licenses allow for teaching staff to utilize AI in the creation of, ancillary materials. And that's interesting, Jane, that there was a workaround for the collective around the creation of, or the export of PDFs with book cover. All right, I'll have a look. I won't do a demo. I'll actually just investigate this and get back to the group just to see what's going on there. If there is something that's still hanging over from. So as everyone knows, Studium set up, the access and privileges you have in Studium is quite different to what you had in Collective. So I'll just double check that everything's all right there.
Go for it, Jane.
I was just going to say that it'd be nice to know if there was an easier way to just.
Sorry, Jane, we can't hear you, unfortunately. Oh, it's very, very extremely low.
Faint.
Yeah, faint.
How's that?
That's great.
Oh. Yeah, the workaround was just to create a front meta page at the very beginning and then just inserting the cover image. But it'd be nice if there was a kind of a slightly more automatic way, perhaps. I don't know of one, but there could be.
Yeah, I'll investigate, Jane. Thanks for that. Okay. And Steve's just sending a link in there around a call for interest on that particular project, which is great. Okay, interesting. So Lucy's stating here that if they need a special like a print-friendly PDF version, that you create your own, upload it to the media library, and add a button to the landing page. So you're not using the built-in PDF building tools. I believe there's quite a few updates in the back end to the PDF building tools.
So what we're finding, Sean, is
Yeah.
if we want to make something that's print friendly, they do, like Pressbooks does provide like a PDF for print, but
Yes.
it's not really any different to the other one that's online.
Okay.
The difference is that if you have a something that's been under, like it's a link out, there's no URL that people can read if it's printed. So what we'll often do is just put an end note or something to the effect that this is the URL, this is the link. So if it gets printed off, people know what to refer to. And if that's needed, if that is one of the versions that the authors want, then we'll have to create a special version of it. And the way we get around not being able to download it from the default export option is to create the version, upload it, and then add a button to the web page, webbook page.
Okay. Thanks, Lucy. Yeah, and I know that just in general, there's some updates coming down the pipe for updates to the PDF engine that they use for the creation of them that's built in. But I think they're more around accessibility. There may be some things that flow through on the other side for print friendly, but I think they're more focused on accessibility updates at the moment. So Jane Clark, would it be possible to have a Studium Teams site or similar as a way for us to keep in touch? Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely something that we can look into. So at the moment, some of you connected via Teams chat. Yep. Yeah, let's look into that. I think that's a really great way, a good anchor for the community, that everyone can be on a mutual footing in there. That's great. We'll look into that.
Yeah, just to continue what Lucy was saying about, can you hear me?
Yes. Yes,
yeah, just to continue what Lucy was saying about chapter level. Sorry, what's it called? Publishing print friendly version. Another thing related to that is for edited volumes or OERs that have multiple contributors, when educators want to use them in their reading lists, often they want a specific chapter, and they really want the PDF for that particular chapter, and kind of are a little bit reluctant to dump this huge PDF. So yeah, sometimes we've had requests to like extract chapter by chapter parts of the PDF, and then we've had to manually go and like, you know, put DOIs for each one and put a link back to the, you know, all that stuff. So if there was some kind of service around that, could be very useful. And it would really increase the potential adoption and impact across institutions.
Well, thanks, David. We'll have a look. Jane's asking, will there be a in-progress spreadsheet and opportunities for cross-institutional collaboration? Yeah, we can definitely have this as part of in a Teams chat, have one of the tabs at the top, maybe specifically link out to a included spreadsheet or table that people can update to be investigated. All right, I don't think I'm missing anything in the chat. I don't think anyone else has their hands up. Still a bit of a conversation going on between Frank and Stephen. So if no one has anything else, I may start just to close out the meeting. I really want to thank everybody for attending and being part of this community. We're just super excited at CAVAL to be providing this service. I think people would know that at the start, we had in the initial quotes that went out, we said, well, we need 5 institutions to sign up to make this viable. And if we don't get that, we're not going ahead. And with 14 subscriptions and another 2 that are on the adoption program, we're super excited and we didn't believe it would be as successful as what it is. And we know that there's other people that are interested in joining as well. So I just wanted to thank everybody for your time today, for signing up to Studium. And please, we're as open as possible. So please, if you've got any other suggestions, please contact us to see how we can improve and evolve the service and the platform. If you're on this call and you're not signed up, because I think there are a couple of people on here that aren't signed up, or if you are signed up and you want to send through suggestions and everything, as I've been saying throughout the meeting, just contact us on the email address that's on the screen now, oersupport@caval.edu.au, and then we'll essentially be able to work through all of that. So on behalf of Sarah and Craig that is on the call, I'll just double check the chat once more. And yeah, we'll be sending out a link to the PowerPoint as well as a link to the recording as well for everybody to get access to after this. So I think that's it. Thanks everybody, and enjoy the rest of your day.